free, and enjoy more of what the world has to offer in this action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch.
So a little one-person trampoline, very,
I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Tara Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best entrepreneur you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people we love and care about most. We're all about personal development here, starting our mornings off on the right foot. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in this morning. And yeah, so this one, I'm going to this event tonight where the mayors of my hometown, Sterling, there's going to be three people running, three candidates, and they're going to be speaking to our real estate group. So I've been wanting to get more involved with this kind of stuff, and I've always been told, whether it was even, I remember my sister telling me a long time ago about, if you want to get into look at politics, starting like small and locals, a lot easier to make an impact on it. Didn't really understand. And then I got into college, and then I saw some of my friends getting involved into it in Macomb. I went to Western Illinois University, smaller than even bigger schools like Illinois State or the University of Illinois here in the state of Illinois, but started to see that you could see a lot more immediate impacts and change and kind of build momentum and build your skills in it and this and that. I'm not saying I'm getting into politics by any means, but we're more so talking about today how to get back into your community or how to give back in general. One of the sections in our one-page life plan that we make together over our 6-week boot camp together is one of the sections is giving back. Like, you need to advocate and you need to figure out how it is that you are going to give, because we're big believers in Tony Robbins' famous quote, if you're not giving, then are you really living? Giving is living. It's kind of rolls off the tongue weird, but either way, 10 tips on how to give back to your community. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to pull up these 10 tips on my show notes, kind of the style that we've been doing lately. I hope people have been liking that, just like looking at the notes and easy to read. Like, this is it. And I'm going to talk through each of the points, and we're just going to rattle off some ideas. And today's challenge, so spinning it around in your own seat, I want you to think, what is one of these 10 tips? What is one of these that I could apply in the next week? What is one of these tips I could apply in the next month? What is one of these that would be really fun? Like, what would I enjoy doing? What is something that's been on my mind lately? And I know I'd have a general interest in it. It would give me some life, because that's one thing that I find really wild for the longest time. And I'm not surprised. I mean, lots of young men are like this, and women are just young, ambitious people. Like, I was so focused on just like, oh, I just want material success. I just want to get a boatload of money so we can travel. I can go do sweet stuff with my friends and family. And then you start to mature, and then you're meeting more people. And then you see kind of what would be an example when Theodore Roosevelt goes into and he like very against like cutting wages and stuff like that at first, or making people not have to work long hours. And then he gets into these cigar factories and he sees how horrible the conditions are. So we know that people struggle, and we know that people can use our help, and we know that it makes us feel good too. So I'm asking to take a selfish approach to giving back to your community, because not only are other people going to benefit, but we're also going to benefit by feeling alive, by feeling proud of who we are and what we do. Because I haven't met anybody who's really regretted, like, oh, I really regret giving back and helping that person. I really regret volunteering and supporting. I really regret mentoring that person and helping them get started. I really regret. You can hear how obnoxious and ridiculous that really sounds, but it's hard to apply. We have busy things going on in our lives. And again, before I get too into it, let's go ahead and get into the notes. We have 10 of them, so we do have quite a few to get through. So I won't beat around the bush anymore. Good morning. Good morning. I hope everyone's having a wonderful morning this morning. If you're just checking us out, we are about to get into some tips. I'm going to go ahead and take my face off the screen so you guys can see even a little bit better. So we're going to go quickly through these 10 tips to volunteer and to give back to your community. So if you've been thinking about these lately or you want to do one, or maybe you can branch out and have a different idea of something along those lines. But number one, looking to volunteer. Number one, let's go ahead and keep our banners rolling with this for my video editor. All right, number one, volunteer. Look for local charities or nonprofit organizations that work in your community and volunteer your time and energy to help them achieve their goals. If I'm being blatantly honest, the only one I've really been doing as of late with this is this Christmas for Kids stuff. And I remember this little boy coming in and the toy, I'm not trying to be an a-hole, but the toy really wasn't that nice or nothing crazy, right? And this kid just like comes in and I'm like, hey, you can grab one of these, whatever one you want. And he's like, oh my gosh, really? And the kid was dressed in rags and he just ran up, grabbed some toy, and then he just like is squeezing it and hugging as hard as he can. He's like, this is the best gift ever. And he's like almost crying, and I'm like crying. I'm like, holy crap, this is crazy. Because I was never really big. I'm sure like a lot of us just never, I didn't do a lot of this type of work growing up. So seeing that, volunteering, looking for opportunities to volunteer, it'd be pretty incredible stuff. Number two would be donating. So at the end of the day, a lot of people don't like to hear this, but being able to contribute money is very, very powerful in like helping organizations. Consider donating to organizations that support causes that are important to you. Right now, I donate money to there's Red Cross in Ukraine, where they help people in Ukraine. They're literally getting bombed and all this crazy stuff. We live in America. It's awesome, amazing. We don't have these fighter jets and tanks and all this crazy shit rolling through our country, which I'm very, very grateful for. USA is the best. But can't help but you got to know at the end of the day, money is very powerful. It's a tool. It's not the end all be all. It's like not pure happiness, but what it can do as a tool is pretty incredible. I mean, it literally pays for employees. So if you're considering donating, thinking about the cause that matter a lot to you, and that's one of the powers of choice. That's great. There's so many things that need support and aid, that whether you're donating to a group that's going to help kids get iPads so they can read an unlimited amount of stuff and educate themselves across the world. Maybe you want to really contribute to helping less people starve to death. I know COVID was a bad thing, but we also need to realize that 3 million children die of starvation every single year. Like, there is a list of problems that definitely need addressed. And just thinking, if that matters a lot to you, then donating money to a particular cause is probably a good idea. Number two. Number three, let's support local businesses. Support local businesses. Buy from small, locally owned businesses whenever possible, especially those that are owned by members of underrepresented communities. So my mom had me go to this store the other day. It's like Health and Nutrition Plus. Shout out to them. But it's a local store, and they're focusing on nutrition and whole quality foods and supporting people. And that's exactly the type of companies that we want to support. We want to, or at least I value health to a very high degree. So supporting companies like that makes a lot of sense, in the fact that it would make you feel good. I mean, literally the goal of the company is to make people feel better and healthier. So all in on that. So maybe you're thinking of, oh, maybe once a week I can stop by a local coffee shop. I don't want to blow all of my money, right? Whether it's to local businesses or not, you got to budget and you got to be investing in yourself and your family and your future. But if you are going to indulge, say once a week, maybe it's from a local business, would be better than something like a McDonald's. Okay, next is mentoring. Mentoring. I have benefited so greatly from this, and I really haven't. I'm pretty early on. It's not like I'm some huge success or anything like that. We're definitely making a lot of progress, but I personally have benefited from this so much. I've had mentors in college. I had mentors when I worked for App Properties in Chicago for the real estate firm. I've had mentors in coaching up until today. And it's made just, I can't even put into words how invaluable it is to have mentors. So maybe you're thinking about mentoring somebody else. Think about someone wanting to learn from you. They're thinking, I think so highly of you, your capacity, your ability, everything that you represent. It means so much to me that I want to hear from you. So maybe this can be a young person, a coworker, anyone who can benefit from guidance, And there's this threshold with this, right? You can't do the work for people. You can't do the work for people. I'm sure many of us have intense experience with that, where people just want other people to do the work for them. This can be dangerous, but mentoring is just laying it out, being a good listener, understanding their steps, and like, oh, do you think this would be a good idea? So, mentoring. Meant to change my subtitle, but mentoring. Maybe you want to mentor somebody, educate in general. So this is something that the show truly represents. And maybe you want to do your own show. Maybe you want to make more social media content. I think everyone should have some type of personal brand. Big believer that social media is just the new resume for people. Like, people are going to look at your social media. It's just the matter of fact. And so representing, or maybe you want to curtail or critique on educational pieces that use your platform to educate others about issues that matter to you. Share articles, posts, videos that shed light on important social and environmental issues. So you can educate people to try and help and give back to your community. Participate. We talked about this one. This is the one I'm doing tonight at a local event for a real estate group. We are hosting the mayors who are candidates for the community, and we're going to be checking them out. And I'm excited to get parts of, but just looking for opportunities. A great way I've found out about new stuff to do in the area is reading the newspaper. So maybe you could check out that. And if you don't want to pay the $1 for the newspaper, it's online. I think you can read it for like a quarter or something like that. Or I think even in a lot of areas, you can read them for free. But participate in community events, attend community events like festivals, fundraisers, and town halls to support your community. Participate in community events. I like that one a lot. That one's really fun. Gets me out of the house. Makes me feel good. Okay. Number 7, be a good neighbor. Be a good neighbor. Don't be that butthole neighbor who is always, blaring music, or maybe leaving out trash, or just use common sense on this one, right? Be kind and respectful to your neighbors. Offer to help them with tasks. Be mindful of noise levels and look out for their safety. These are just basic things that we can all hope and aspire for to get support from. But just being a good neighbor could be a way that you give back to your community. Number 8, reducing your environmental impact. Reduce your environmental impact. Small things can be helpful. And I get it. China and India and these giant, massive populations, I get it. They have a way bigger piece in the carbon footprint. I've watched the videos on how global warming isn't real, yada, yada. It doesn't stop the fact. I mean, just going forward into the future, we need to be delicate with the planet. We need to treat it with respect, and just anything that you use and you respect, you usually have more gratitude and grace for. So if you're going to tear me apart with scientific facts about this is fake, that's fine. I don't care. But what I do care about is just like, let's set the precedent and the principle for other people, because everything starts somewhere, right? I get it. The recycling market's a private market and they only buy a certain percentage. but it's going to grow like anything with care and attention. It's going to grow and it's going to expand and it's going to get better. So maybe that's where your headspace turns to then or that's at least where my headspace is at. Okay, this might not completely save China from all the pollutants it's doing, but I can set the example and I can do what I can to help reduce the energy usage and just kind of try and help it and do what I can, because it also makes me feel good to reduce and to contribute as much as I can do. And number 9, advocate for causes you care about. Advocate for causes you care about. Speak up for causes that you care about. Contact your elected representatives. We're talking to some mayors tonight. Sign petitions and attend rallies to show your support. This one I will say, so some people may have countering beliefs to what I believe on this stuff. Be smart on what you're advocating for and just do it in peaceful ways, right? Just because you believe in something doesn't mean somebody else is wrong for doing something or believing something wrong. This is unfortunately usually the catch of the con with stuff like this, or I feel bad that I even have to bring this up. But just when you're going for your causes, you're believing, don't be so quote unquote open-minded that you become closed-minded. So advocate for the causes that you want, but don't be condescending because other people aren't at your level yet. So not everyone evolves and grows at the same time, having empathy. And that's not even what the avocation is about, I would argue. So go ahead, just have your causes, support them, and do it in peaceful, supportive manners, and it can lead to really good things. So, and lastly, number 10, and what I believe is the simplest but most important, spread positivity. If you're going to do anything from this morning show today, remember to smile, remember to share, and remember everyone's moving at different states of life. Whether you just had a child or you're going to prison, people are moving in different spaces, different times, and everything's different. So you never know if my point is, you never know if someone's having a bad day. So if you can support them just by spreading a little bit of positivity. So be kind to others, spread positivity, and focus on the good in the world. Small acts of kindness can make a big difference in someone's day. Imagine if someone came up to you today and gave you $10. Someone gave you $10. What would that do for your day? It's incredible. It would make me feel really good. It would literally give me more trust into the world, which is a crazy concept to think that you can have that big of an impact just off of that small of an amount of money. But it's true. Just going out and doing small acts, gestures. I'm not saying go out and just give everyone $10, but being kind and spreading positivity, focusing on the good in the world. Whenever you have starting conversations, whenever you're chatting with people back and forth, people love when you listen. They love when you talk about what they care about. You're more interesting when you're interested. Dale Carnegie principle. Spread positivity, be kind, share a smile, and it's incredible what you can do for somebody. So these are 10 tips, quick little overview, but you guys get it. Pick one. The challenge again for today. Let's go ahead and get off this screen. I guess we'll do one quick little roundabout. Volunteer, donate, support local businesses, mentor, educate, participate in community events, be a good neighbor, reduce your environmental impact, advocate for causes you care about, and spread positivity. All 10 of these are in the description below if you want a label to reference for it. I'm going to go ahead and remove myself off the screen. So as from the show title, you can see 10 tips to help give back to your community. What is the one challenge you can do in the next 7 days? What is one thing that you can do? What has your interests up, and what makes sense? And don't be scared to be selfish on this kind of stuff. A lot of times like, oh, I have to only do this for other people. It's like, no, I mean, if you want to build your personal brand by advocating and talking about particular causes, and people are still getting positive, good information, I'd much rather you be trying to build your personal brand on what you represent and be sharing positive content than sharing just like cute animal videos or like Ben Shapiro destroys Democratic representative in this, or this person's slant. Like I see all these videos for when people like diss on or have this amazing counter argument, or they're arguing in general. It's like if you're arguing, what the hell are we even doing here? I don't understand why people do that. But either way, share good content, build your personal brand. Don't be scared to be selfish with this, but have fun with it and make sure we understand the main principle. Giving is living. Living is giving. Thank you, Tony Robbins. Shout out to the GOAT. But that's all I had for today. This was 10 tips to give back to your community. I hope this was helpful, everyone. If you want to work with a life coach, if you want to work with me specifically, I offer 2 services. One, I offer developing a 1-page life plan over 6 weeks. You and I, mano a mano, working on your personal plan. It's about you, what you represent. And we create an end product of a 1-page plan that you can share with your community so they know what you truly represent. And additionally, the second service I offer is just one-on-one coaching, where we just go over categories of life to help you improve yourself personally and professionally over time. Cheers, friends. Let's stay accountable. Keep kicking butt. Consistency breeds success. Episode 234. We'll be back with another episode 235. And we're going to be talking about mentors a little bit. So if you've been wanting to hear about mentors or some questions and this and that, I know we talked about mentoring other people. So I thought it'd be a good cause. And I wanted to talk about a little bit about a couple of my mentors, how I got to know them, because usually that's the questions, like, how do I even start this conversation? What value do I provide? Yada, yada. So cheers. It'll be a fun episode. That'll be episode 235. And then I'll start at 7 a.m. live Central Standard Time. Please make sure to like this video if you like the content out of it. Share it with someone who you think can benefit, and tell people about the show. 7 a.m. live every single weekday morning. We're going live. So if you know someone who can benefit from this type of content, who wants to come on here, who wants to kick butt, who wants to learn more personal development ideas and just become a better self, we're here rock and roll, and we'll be back again. We're going to episode 1000. So cheers, friends. I'm out of here. Until next time, have a good one. Peace out.